but I do not think it would be right for me to try to be the captain.
For a new Prime Minister to lead that effort.
It has been the privilege of my life.
My, people come and go so quickly here. Follow the yellow brick road.
Right, this is the cover to The Road to Nowhere, Volume 3 of McCartans.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow.
This is an image that I worried about as soon as I came up with it, because again I thought somebody must have done it. They must have done this, but they hadn't. It's the Wizard of Oz, obviously.
You're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. You'll find he is a wizard, a whiz, if ever a whiz there was. If ever a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because.
My original concept for this was going to involve Hamish as the lion. I almost immediately dismissed it because, of course, the lion's a cowardly lion and Hamish is anything but that.
Shame on you!
What did you do that for? I didn't buy them.
No, but you tried to.
I thought, well, Boris Johnson fits in.
What's the naughtiest thing you ever did?
Theresa May had to be Dorothy.
I have to confess, when me and my friends sort of used to run through the fields of wheat, the farmers weren't too pleased about that.
The tinsmith forgot to give me a heart.
Because of the wonderful things he does.
No heart?
Corbyn as the Scarecrow.
I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain.
And in their various ways, I would blame each one of these characters for getting us to where we are just now.
The wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
This is called The Balance of Powers. It's in this collection just now, partly because it took me bloody ages and I'm wanting to big it up. I think it speaks to a theme running through the entire Brexit story. That is the one of Scotland's relative powerlessness.
We're on a road to nowhere. Oh, come on in.
It depicts the Scottish Parliament and then these three lovelies, all of which have much more say and influence over where Scotland is going to end up than this 21st century Parliament. So we've got Arlene Foster looking, as more than one person has said, a wee bit like Oliver Hardy, representing the DUP, who got themselves £1 billion for doing bugger all, pretty much, because they're there to prop up the cadaver that was Theresa May's administration. We have Lord Forsyth, a serially rejected parliamentarian from these parts, actually attempting with his ermined friends to talk out one of the attempts to prevent a no deal that was going through the House of Lords. And while he was farting on about democracy, they were trying to filibuster this bill out. And then, of course, we have the ERG represented here by Jacob Rees-Mogg. I like to think of them as the posh tail that wags the Tory dog. Every one of them, in their each individual way, was hugely influential in what was going to happen to Scotland in the future, whereas this Parliament didn't. 3 for the price of 1, and a nice picture of the Parliament, so there you
go. We kissed, I fell under your spell of love. No one could deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you.
This is The Wrecking Ball.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love.
This was quite a popular, widely shared cartoon, I'm pleased to say. And the story behind it is that it was obvious the story is the EU elections and Nigel Farage, the human Toby jug, as I describe him.
No, I'm not European, I'm English. Don't make that mistake, please.
He is somebody who has spent his life trying to upset the British, political order, and you have to hand it to him. I think he finally did it on this occasion. I mean, this was a party that was barely 3 weeks old. It didn't have any policies. It had a colour scheme and a logo. It's astonishing that we live in such times that is almost now a footnote. It's almost like, well, basically just laying waste to the normal UK political landscape. Drawing the wreckage, I was trawling around looking for images of demolished houses, and I ended up looking at a great deal of stuff post Second World War, bombed out towns and cities. 29 MEPs, I think, the Brexit Party won, and the party of government, the Tories, only got 5. I think in one constituency, Labour came 9th. So it was a really bad night for the Scottish branches of the Tories and Labour. So I thought, I'll depict them. So I thought of the kennel and the wee Wendy house for them. And I'm quite pleased with the way it came out. Again, another cartoon that's in here partly because it took me ages. So this is the top table. It depicts a theme which is British exceptionalism. This was at the time where we had the Irish question really coming to the fore for the first time for a lot of people in the British establishment, and they were not happy about it at all. Priti Patel, who was now suggesting that Britain threatened food shortages in an effort to concentrate mines in Dublin. And we had the BBC quoting an anonymous Tory grandee and former minister outraged at the behaviour of Ireland not rolling over and doing whatever London wanted it to do. The quote was, "They shouldn't treat us this way, they should know their place." And of course the place was below the top table, because the reality of course is that Europe empowers smaller nations. And I deliberately drew it in a way that you don't see all of the faces of the people at the top table, because I wanted to focus on the difference, where the relative power lay. And I also deliberately put the other flag as the Maltese flag, just to accentuate this thing about the relative power of small nations and now the UK. The whole point of it was that's Britain now sinking to its knees and completely oblivious to its new role in the world, which is a powerless one, which it's voting for rather than what it is, delusions of grandeur. So that's the top table.
So it's once again it's that time when we're putting out a new book of Chris's cartoons. This is the third book, and the third that I've published. It's very exciting, and of course we need your support. There are lots of other funny little perks to go with this book, but mostly I know you're just going to love these drawings anyway, right?
Yes.